Hello there, I'm Joshua Cho, and welcome to This Month in Movies, the first one for this year. Today we're looking at the DVD and Blu-ray releases of January 2016, so why don't we get right into it?
Let's get to it.
Okay, like I always say, this is Australian releases, and these are my opinions. There are definitely other movies that come out this month, but I just don't really recommend them. But these are ones that I enjoyed or heard really good things about, and that interest me, so I'm letting you know what I'm looking forward to. You might be looking forward to something different, and that's alright, but why don't we get started with the first week of January. We have Z for Zachariah. Now, this film originally premiered at Sundance last year, and I heard good things from Sundance. But when it got a wide release, what I heard wasn't as good, but I'm still really interested to check it out. It's got a good cast. You have Chris Pine, Margot Robbie, and Chiwetel Ejiofor, and they're fantastic actors. You have Craig Zabel, who directed Compliance, which is a really good film. And I've just heard from people that I trust that it's good. Unfortunately, I haven't seen it yet, but it's finally coming on home video because it did miss a theatrical release in Australia, but I'm still pretty keen to check it out. For the second week of January, we have Me and Earl and the Dying Girl. Now, this was a film that won all the awards, pretty much, well, the main awards for Sundance last year, and it got a really good response. I was really looking forward to it, and then when I saw it, I was a little bit disappointed, but I still liked the film in general. It's got a great cast with fantastic performances, and it's an enjoyable film, and it's got a heart in it, but for me, the visual style and the aesthetic was just too distracting for me to really connect to the emotion of the film. And if a film is making me pay attention to the technical aspects, it's not doing its job properly. It's supposed to make me forget that I'm looking at these shots and just make me get engaged with the story. That's the most important thing you can do. And this film was really distracting with its visual style, which was inventive, yes, but also pretentious and really in your face, that I just really couldn't connect to this film the way I wanted to. But it's still a really good film, and I definitely recommend checking it out if it interests you. I gave it 3.5 stars, and I'm standing by that.
It was life.
Also, in the second week of January 2016, we have Straight Outta Compton. Straight Outta Compton is, of course, based on the NWA, and it is a really engaging biopic. It's not necessarily original in its format or the way it does things, but it was engaging nonetheless, with great performances from the whole cast and good cinematography from Matthew Libatique. And it's a really strong and solid and mostly entertaining film, even though it does, of course, have a lot of drama, and it does deal with some very topical issues like police violence, and it's just an engaging and enjoyable film. It's not amazing, it's not perfect, but I was constantly drawn into what was going on, and I didn't feel the length of the film either. It's over 2 hours, but it didn't feel like that because I was always engaged and interested in what was going on, and that is helped by a great cast. But I also think F. Gary Gray, the director, did a really good job as well, so I definitely recommend checking it out. So I give Straight Outta Compton 4 stars.
Yo, Dre.
What up?
I got something to say.
And lastly, for the second week of January, we have the Wolfpack, which is a documentary. I unfortunately haven't gotten to see it yet. It didn't have a release theatrically in Australia, but I'm really looking forward to seeing it. It's about these young men whose father has kept them inside their house, and through movies they're able to go and experience the outside world, and it's really interesting, and I heard really good things, got a good response. It premiered at Sundance last year as well, and I'm really looking forward to checking it out once it's on home video.
I guess he always saw us as the little boys who couldn't.
For the third week of January 2016, we have Irrational Man. Now, this is Woody Allen's latest film, and though it wasn't as warmly received from critics as I received it, I really enjoyed this film, and most critics didn't, but I really enjoyed it. I thought Joaquin Phoenix was great, Emma Stone, of course, always charming. It's got a good cast. You have Parker Posey, who's really good, and I just really enjoyed this film, and I thought it was really well done and really well handled, and I think that it's unfortunately, wasn't received the way I wish it was. It was really enjoyable and fun. I don't think it was a perfect film, but I still really had a good time with it, and I enjoy Woody Allen films. So I gave this film 3 stars, and I'm going by that as well.
I've had many experiences and now a unique one.
Also in the third week of January, we have Everest. Now, Everest, I liked a bit more the first time I watched it, but the more I thought about it, the more I wasn't as into it as I originally thought. So I'm giving it 3 stars instead of 3.5 like I did my review. But I thought it was a really well-made film that doesn't try and fit the formulaic kind of layout of Hollywood films, and it's really wonderfully filmed. I thought the 3D was mostly good, and the actors are all great. I loved Jason Clarke. You also had Jake Gyllenhaal, Josh Brolin, John Hawkes. It's got a good cast, and I thought that it was at least, for the most part, compelling, and the fact that it doesn't go and set things out in the right beats, because that's not how the event was, it's not how life was. It plays it out the way it was. And I like that it didn't try to over-dramatize the situation. These are characters that have done this before, and they're just going through the motions, and I liked that aspect of it. But I feel like there could have been more of an emotional center, and there could have been just a lot more to it than just like, it just lays it out really, and it could have been made a bit more interesting, but it's still a good film.
If anyone can make it, you can.
Also in the third week of January, we have The Visit. Now, The Visit is, of course, M. Night Shyamalan's latest film, and it was a little bit of a comeback, because the other past few films he has made has been terrible, but this film was really entertaining. It's not flawless, it has a lot of holes, but it was entertaining nonetheless, and I thought it was a pretty good return. It manages to be a bit creepy, have a few frightening moments, be a very enjoyable and funny kids film, as well as being a horror, and I found that entertaining. M. Night Shyamalan was able to put his pretensions aside and just show this rather earnest film that actually has a lot of heart in it as well, and good performances from the kids. I really thought the kids were great, and the grandparents so campy, that was kind of the intention anyway. So I gave this film 3 stars.
Mom, you need to come right now.
Lastly, for the third week of January, we have The Diary of a Teenage Girl.
Wake up and I see you next to me.
Written and directed by Marielle Heller, and this was a really, really good coming-of-age film. And what I really liked was that in a lot of coming-of-age films, they always have the innocent girl. And not every girl is innocent, and not every girl should have to be. This film takes a girl who is interested in sex, because women are just as interested in sex as the guys. In a lot of guys' coming-of-age movies, the guys are obsessed with sex, and why can't we have it the other way? And this film does that. I thought it was really well written, really well made. I really loved the visual style, the cinematography was gorgeous, and the actors are good. Belle Powley was a breakthrough, and I really look forward to seeing more from her. Kristen Wiig and Alexander Skarsgård are great as well. I just thought it was a really well-handled film that isn't afraid to look into the dark moments of experience. And not everything is happy, not everything is great. But I will warn you that it is a very explicit film when it comes to its sexual contact, and I am someone who is a bit more conservative, and so it did make me rather uncomfortable to watch certain things in this film. And I also think the film was a little bit too long, but at the end of the day, it was a really good film. I really thought it was really strong and earnest and honest, and for that I gave it 4 stars.
I refuse to be some sniveling crybaby. This is my life.
And last but not least, for the 4th week of January, we have Sicario. Now, Sicario is the latest film from Denis Villeneuve, and it is an incredibly bleak procedural, and with fantastic performances all around. Emily Blunt's great, Josh Brolin's great, but the standout is Benicio del Toro, who is really the heart of the film and gives a phenomenal performance. But you also have Roger Deakins' gorgeous cinematography, you have a fantastic score, and it's just a really, really good and engaging slow burn, and I love slow burn films, and this film is that all the way. And I just think it's a wonderfully directed and crafted film that has a lot to say and isn't afraid to say it, and it's a very intense film, and I think that it's a film you should definitely check out. It is slow, yes, but it is also thrilling, and by the end of the film, when the credits start rolling, I had to gasp for air. It was incredibly intense and suspenseful, and just really, really well made and a really great film. So I highly recommend checking it out. I gave it 4.5 stars. I think it's a really great film and quite a gut punch as well.
I'm gonna tell everyone what you did.
That would be a major mistake.
That's all the time we have for today. If you could see any of these films I talked about and have any thoughts on it, feel free to comment below. You can my Facebook page, like that, comment there, follow me on Twitter, and don't forget to subscribe. But like I say, this is just my opinions. There are other films that have come out this month, and if you are interested in them and want to talk about them, feel free to comment below. And of course, this is just my opinion that these are just Australian releases. There are other movies that come out in other countries that we don't get yet, or we've already gotten, so feel free to comment about those ones as well. But anyway, I'm just Richoa. This has been This Month in Movies. I hope you enjoyed it, and just get out there and watch good movies.